Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dork Entertainment. It's been a while. I've got Samit here with me. Welcome back, Samit, to the studio.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's been a while. People have been in hospital, people moved.
Lots been happening. Baby's been sick.
Yeah, but we're back. And what a time to come back. It's San Diego Comic-Con.
San Diego Comic-Con. It was Comic-Con International, they called it, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
And we've got some amazing things to talk about.
Yeah, it was all of Phase 5 and Phase 6.
So the Marvel panel has just finished recently.
Yeah.
And boy, have they announced a big plan for the next, 3 years?
4 years.
4 years. So at the moment, as you all know, we are in Phase 4 of Marvel's cinematic, what do they call it? Cinematic universe or whatever
MCU.
it is.
Yeah.
MCU, yeah. Phase 4.
Yeah.
So they've announced Phase 5 and Phase 6. So we're going to discuss both phases at the moment. We'll start off with Phase 5, Samit.
Yeah, Marvel kicked it off with the announcements of Phase 5. They just went all out for this one, and as you can see on the screen, there's like a lot of different properties they've got there,
so including TV or Disney Plus shows and movies.
Yeah, so. We'll go through one by one and sort of discuss them. I guess the first one to talk about would be Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's going to kick off Phase 5.
Yes, Quantumania.
And we saw and probably see on the screen, there is a poster of that as well that sort of released. Not a poster, more like a concept art sort of thing, which had three of them, the Ant-Man, the Wasp, and also his daughter there. And in the background, you see Kang.
Yes.
It's like a little piece of concept art there.
Yeah. So Kang, you guys remember from Loki, Season 1, where he was revealed to be the ultimate baddie.
And he's going to be in this one. He's going to be the big baddie. I think, as we'll discuss later on, he's going to be the big baddie of this whole thing. And that's I think the biggest prevalent theme across these two phases is that this is all part of what Kevin Feige has dubbed the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah.
And that's official as well. So, before it was the Infinity War Saga, this is the Multiverse Saga. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, are you excited for Quantumania?
I am actually.
Apparently they showed something. I won't really discuss too much about what was shown there, but apparently they have shown a bunch of footage to the crowd there.
I actually enjoyed the first two Ant-Man movies. Like, it was a good, I guess it wasn't heavy, like it was lighthearted.
Yeah.
And there was, the Paul Rudd comedy in there. So, and I forgot that dude, the Spanish dude. He's hilarious. I love that guy.
Yes.
What's his name? He's hilarious, but and hopefully he's back in this one as well. But I'm looking forward to Quantumania not only because I guess the previous few Marvel movies have been a bit of a disappointment. I don't want to say disappointment, but more haven't lived up to expectations. And I feel like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania can bring that back.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Because it's going to also lead into the big storyline.
Yeah, so that's the thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp this time around, is that the first movie was very sort of... It was a small story, wasn't it? It was just really him and about his kid, and like it was just a pretty good contained story just within that, and then sort of expanded a bit more in the second one with the Wasp, and now there's like and we've seen Ant-Man be involved in a lot of big things like Civil War and Endgame. And
he was a big part of Endgame. He was pretty much the savior.
He was the savior. He was the reason.
The quantum realm.
He was the reason why they could do all the things they do in Endgame. Like now there's something, I guess, a threat that is probably the biggest threat of the whole MCU right now. And it's good to see that he is, his movie is part of that.
Yeah.
It's a very important piece of what's going to be shown in this saga.
Yeah. And that's not that far away. So February 17th, 2023.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably expect the trailer probably towards the end of the year. So,
Definitely. The next thing after that, we've got Secret Invasion.
Yeah, Secret Invasion. So this is where the Skrulls, the comic book storyline is that the Skrulls do a takeover of Earth.
Yeah, so this continues on to sort of from Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, and they've sort of been teased here and there. Showed up in Spider-Man as well, even. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because the actual storyline in the comics is that they're evil, but in the way they've been introduced in the MCU is that they're the good guys, the Skrulls.
It was interesting because they can look like anyone, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the talk after Captain Marvel was that what if some of the superheroes that have died, they were actually Skrulls? Probably not, but like, you know what I mean? Like, and that sort of died down because it's taken a long time.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like, I mean, obviously not Iron Man, but like maybe Captain America, or, like anyone that's died.
Yeah.
What if they were actually a Skrull the whole time?
In the comics,
it's a loophole.
In the comics, I think someone is revealed to be a Skrull. I think it is Captain America.
Captain America.
I believe someone is very important that's revealed to be a Skrull, and it's just like a big WTF moment.
So obviously, probably won't be Iron Man or Captain America. It'll be someone else. Yeah. But I
reckon it'll probably be something big. But it is a Disney Plus series, so
someone big like Hulk.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of implications for what comes from that.
So that's on Disney Plus. Yeah, like you were saying, that's coming on Disney Plus. So that'll be a TV show. Yeah, a few episodes of that. So one little gripe with Disney Plus TV shows is they're doing 6-episode arcs. Like, I know each episode is then like, action packed, but then they still put in like a filler episode sometimes in there. Like I've seen in the last few shows with 6-episode arcs, there's a filler episode in there. They don't need that. Like I feel like 6 episodes probably a little bit too short. They probably need like 8 or 9 episodes.
Yeah. And even Star Wars did this with Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Like it just felt like someone did like a 2-hour cut of Obi-Wan, which apparently is so good. Like it makes it 10 times better.
They edited like music from the other movies. Yeah. And they made it very theatrical.
So it's just like, hopefully they're getting better at their streaming shows, I reckon. So we'll see whether what Secret Invasion holds. But it is a big storyline in the comics. So I expect it to be something pretty big on Disney Plus as well.
And then there's the big one, in my opinion. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Finally. It's been a tough couple of years for James Gunn. He's
yes.
I mean, with what was happened to him, through Twitter and all that sort of stuff, and cancelling him, and then coming back. I mean, he's had a period of time, but now he finally gets to complete his trilogy, which he's been saying online, that this is the end of this iteration, I guess, at least, of the Guardians of the Galaxy. There could be further ones, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
but they'll be different.
Do you reckon they'll go because remember there was Sylvester Stallone in the last one,
the Ravagers and all that.
Yeah, that could be.
I reckon they are involved in some way.
It could be just like a throw off sort of thing, but there definitely will. Or definitely, sorry, there may be more iterations, like you said, of Guardians.
It'll be a different team, but I guess this core story of them, they're going to tell that, and they're going to end it here, and I don't know what the future could hold.
To be honest, so going back to the beginning of the Guardians, the first one came as a bit of a surprise. One, because I had not read the comics, and I did not know anything about this movie, the first one. But I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was a very enjoyable movie, very fun sort of movie, and it was silly. Like, it wasn't taking itself too seriously as well.
Too much. It's, I reckon, one of the best MCU movies because of the fact that, no one really knew what it was about. It was just sort of like the Guardians were sort of like C-list comic book sort of in a way. And they've just they've done the movie so well because it just focused on the characters and James Gunn. All credit James Gunn because they needed his sensibility to do that, right? And he really just nailed it straight out of the park.
And it was a bit unfortunate that he got taken off number 2.
Number 3,
number 3.
Yeah, he got taken off number 3, and then he went and did Suicide Squad, and now it's finally
number 3.
Yes.
So he did number 2.
Yeah, he did number 2. Yeah.
Okay. Well, number 2 was a bit of a dip for me. It was still good, but it wasn't as good as the first one. Let's hope that he can finish this off with the bang with the current Guardians team. So Batista, I love Batista. This is great. So that's coming out in May
5th.
May 5th, so summer movie next year, American summer movie. Yeah. May 5th, 2023. And the next one after that, we've got a couple of Disney Plus shows which Actually, I'm not really familiar with, I got to say. So there's Echo.
Yeah, so Echo was in, and I don't know if you've watched Hawkeye. So Echo was in Hawkeye, and she was that sort of agent that was.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
she has her own show. So that'll be interesting. It'll be part of the whole, sort of street Marvel team in a way.
Yeah.
So we could see possibly Hawkeye in it. I don't know. But that's part of that whole team, and it'll be interesting to see, because the last we saw of her was in Hawkeye, and where she's got a gun to Kingpin.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens after that. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
And that's that's summer 2023, American summer 2023, and that same summer is Loki season 2.
Ooh, this is a big one. This is a big one because it is going to directly connect into Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, because Kang's going to come from that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be connected straight to Loki season 2. It's going to be basically, about where Loki is. He's at the TVA. He's in a universe where it's conquered by Kang.
Yeah. I thought Loki, I thought the way it ended in season 1, I thought it would have a much more bigger impact on the following movies after that. But it didn't, which was a bit disappointing. Yeah. But I feel like, with the introduction of Kang at the end, it finished, and the multiverse, branching off into different areas, like the way they showed it.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God, this is insane.
That's what I feel like Phase 4 hasn't really, I guess, executed pretty well, is that, like, the events of Loki, and this is what Kevin Feige has said this on a red carpet of, I believe it was Doctor Strange. He said that the events of Loki allowed for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange for that to happen. Yeah. And allowed for the multiverse of madness to happen. Yeah. If that didn't happen, then those movies wouldn't happen, right? But he shouldn't be the one saying it off camera. It should be something that's explained better in the movies.
On screen, yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't really been explained properly like that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, what I'm seeing from this next phase is that there are things that are going to tie together, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, this storyline with Kang, I think, is going to tie through Quantumania and Loki. Yeah. And a couple of different properties, I reckon, as well.
And it's going to lead into a few things we'll talk about in Phase 6 in just a moment, which, oh my God, okay. So that's good. We'll talk about that in a moment after we finish Phase 5. But Loki Season 2 also in summer 2023. Yeah. The next big movie coming out for Marvel after that, I know Samit's really looking forward to this, is The Marvels.
Oh, mate.
So I watched Miss Marvel. I don't think Samit watched it.
No, I didn't. I watched the first 2 episodes and I didn't finish it. So,
look, I thought it was okay.
I didn't hate it, but I was just like, I had other things, got to do.
It was okay. It's different.
But I did know about the end credits and all that big stuff that happened there.
Yes, so it does connect to Captain Marvel in a way, and I assume it's going to connect into the Marvels.
It already does at the end.
It already does, yeah. So she disappears at the end, and Captain Marvel pops up in her place.
Room. Yeah.
And she's like, what the hell? Like, where am I?
Yeah.
So that's going to probably be explained in the Marvels. Now, I've heard a few things online where apparently, I hope it's not true, but the Marvels, it's a very silly sort of
I've heard it's a mess, actually. I've heard at the moment, in its current state, in the current cut, it is a mess. And I don't know how they're going to fix it. Hopefully they do.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm not skinny shaming or anything here, but there was something about Brie Larson being too skinny for the role now or something.
Yeah, they were saying the same things in the first one where, like, she just doesn't look like a Captain Marvel. Like, she really doesn't. There's nothing really, like, her stature and everything. She just, I don't know. Look, I'm not the biggest Brie Larson fan. I don't like her acting.
Apart from Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, I've got to say, I don't think they've handled Captain Marvel properly, because if you look at Avengers Endgame, because Captain Marvel's so powerful, right? They couldn't have her in Avengers Endgame and tell the story that they did. Yeah. They could only have her in the beginning, save Iron Man, because she was probably the only one that could save Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when she blasts her way through the ship, like right at the end, they couldn't have her in the movie.
Yeah.
But she's too powerful for the whole thing to be incorporated into that. So I think the Marvels, I'm hoping that it does progress the bigger storyline in there. I hope there's something to do with the bigger overarching storyline.
No, I wonder how it connects, right? Because I mean, it might even have to do something with mutants, as we've been seen through Miss Marvel at the end of the
and there was also
mutation.
There's also the talk about, like, we're talking about Secret Invasion.
Yeah, that's definitely going to connect to Marvels as well.
Yeah, because of the Skrulls, right? Yeah. And that's what Captain Marvel was pretty much about. So there has to be some connection there, I'm guessing. Like, people have always wondered, where has Captain Marvel been this whole time? She's been off planet.
It's been a couple of movies where she's been off planet.
They can't just leave that where she's just been off planet. Like, they've got to explain something there.
Yeah. Well, they'll definitely explain now, because wherever she was, Miss Marvel is now, I'm guessing. If they've swapped. Yeah. So wherever she was, I think, they've got to find Miss Marvel now.
Yeah. So that's coming out July 28th in 2023. So next year. There's a lot coming out next year.
Yeah.
This you know what it feels like? Just to take a pause for a second. It feels like because of COVID was put on hold, and now ever since restrictions were eased, there's been a flood of production happening, and there's a lot coming out.
I don't know. I just think they've always planned for this much, but like, it just feels like it's too much.
Is it going to oversaturate the comic book hero market?
I already feel like it is starting to.
Yeah.
Because what's happening now, I believe, in Phase 4, in its current state, is that it's been a lot of quantity and not that much quality that we sort of expect from the MCU.
Yeah.
And a lot of there's things that have done really well, like Spider-Man, but then there's been things like that not lived up to the mark, like Doctor Strange. And we didn't really do a Thor review, but I didn't think Thor lived up to the mark as well. And
as a Marvel movie, like as a big Marvel movie, I don't think it lived up to the mark.
No.
It was an entertaining movie, no doubt. It was funny, but didn't, as a Marvel, like, Thor is like one of the main characters from the beginning. Like, you'd expect a massive movie from Thor, right?
It just wasn't executed, right? And that's very shocking from Taika Waititi as well. But,
they went over the top of the joke. But you know what I heard, actually? Just stick on with Thor for a second. I heard a rumor that the reason for all the quirky jokes and the silliness in the whole movie is because in the beginning, Korg is telling the story to
it's just
people, right?
Yeah.
It's through his storyline telling that it's silly. Because you know what Korg is like. It could be like that. I don't know. It's an excuse, maybe. I don't know.
But I thought, like, fundamentally, there was some things wrong with the storytelling itself. But I mean, we'll see where it all goes. But I mean, Marvel's coming out July 28th next year, and there's
after that, big shebang. One of the first of the Fox properties.
Yes, I believe Blade was a Fox property. I think.
Yeah, is this one of the first ones? Blade. Yeah. Yes, we're finally getting Blade. Not Wesley Snipes, but Blade.
We're getting Blade. Ali, yes.
That's November 3rd, 2023. So
that's they are shooting that right now. They might have wrapped, I think. So, I mean, that was definitely on the cards there to be released next year.
There was a rumor that they were going to rename. Of course, I mean, they renamed properties, but they were going to rename Blade to The Blade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's good they didn't do that. But
at the moment, it's just Blade. Let's hope it stays just Blade.
Well, I mean, it could have something to do with... Remember in the Celestials, there was...
end credits?
Yeah, the end credits. Like, it had that sword, and I think that's connected
and then
somehow.
You hear Mahershala, I think.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali, sort of... You can hear in the end credits. So it's definitely connected in that sort of way.
Kit Harington.
Kit Harington, yes. So yeah, Blade, definitely excited. I mean, I'd like to see the MCU take on Blade. So
and how they're going to connect vampires and stuff into that, that's going to be...
Yeah, there's been little hints thrown about vampires being in the MCU. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to go full steam ahead on next year.
Yeah, and that's a cinematic release, thank goodness. And we've got at the fall of 2023 another TV show called Ironheart from Disney.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
To be honest, I'm not really sure either.
I mean, is this... I'm guessing this is an Iron Man story, right? I'm not quite... I think it is... Google Ironheart. But, Ironheart, it's... From what I can remember, I guess, from what I've heard once, it was about... It was about I think it's a teenage girl that sort of comes up with Iron Man technology, I think, and she becomes basically the new Iron Man. I think that's what it is.
Anything to do with his daughter?
I mean, look it up if you Googled Ironheart.
Let us know in the comments below, actually, if you guys know much about Ironheart property. And yeah, that's an interesting one. That's a new one that I haven't really heard about. So that will be interesting.
Yeah. So Ironheart, Riri Williams. It is like a teenager that's sort of. It's inspired by Tony Stark and,
to follows in his heroic footsteps.
Yeah, and comes up with her own suit and, so that'll be interesting. I mean, I'd like to see if Morgan Stark is involved in any sort of way in that because you'd think that she would be, right?
I hope so. That's what I'd want to see.
And they did release that deleted scene of Morgan Stark. Remember from Endgame, where he goes to that same plane where Thanos went.
Yes.
So maybe they are, going ahead with that. So
that could be interesting. Disney Plus series. Yeah.
So that could be a good continuation of that whole story. So I mean, after that, we've got another Disney Plus series, Agatha: Coven of Chaos.
To be honest, I'm kind of sick of Wanda
and her story.
Like, I didn't really to be honest, WandaVision I thought was a good start to her the Disney Plus thing.
Yeah, all right.
And then just like Wanda and the Multiverse of Madness, I didn't really like that movie. That's what it was. Wanda and the Multiverse of Madness. Wanda and the search for her kids.
I mean, like,
come on, Doctor Strange.
I'm not quite sure why a whole Disney Plus series is needed for Agatha.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a nice little arc in that WandaVision series, but whether a whole series is needed?
Look, I'm hoping that if they do the series properly, that it connects somehow to a bit like
something
all
bigger.
of something bigger. Like all of these stories need to connect to the bigger story here, even if it's like a little bit at the end or something, right? That's what we got in the previous phases of Marvel.
Yeah.
There was always something that connected these movies.
Yeah.
Agatha: Coven of Chaos. Look. Okay, let's hope it's good, and I hope it does connect.
Now the big one.
I found her very irritating, by the way, in WandaVision. But anyway, the big one, yes.
Now this is probably one of the biggest announcements to come from Hall H.
Spring 2024.
Daredevil: Born Again.
Yes,
now
there you have it.
That is interesting because it's an 18-episode season as well.
18 episode.
This is unheard of for a Disney Plus Marvel show. And a full, this is one of like old school TV. It's an 18-episode season, and this is Daredevil in the MCU.
Yeah.
And
same actor, Matt Murdock.
Same actor, and it's been confirmed that Vincent D'Onofrio is back as well.
Yes.
So as Kingpin. I mean, I think this what it's implying, right, with Born Again, because they did the Born Again is a storyline in the comics. So they did that in season 3, but I mean, I think this is more about like, I guess this is a sort of like a reboot in a way of Daredevil, but with this, like, it's like they're trying to say it's like a variant in a way. But this is Daredevil's coming into the MCU in a big way, and 18 episodes. I mean, they're really showing faith into Charlie Cox and everything there, right?
Yeah, and well, I mean, that's pretty much going to take up, I think, the first half of the year, isn't it? Like,
yeah. And that's definitely going to connect to Echo that we've seen announced before. So it's cool. It's just like we've said before that like there's not been anything like sort of bringing everything together, right? And I think that's what we'll talk about. The other movies that got announced. But what I can see already just in this phase is that there is like the cosmic level stuff, and then there's the street level stuff. And then they've got like stuff like vampires, supernatural, all that sort of stuff. So there is like definitely like some different types of threads going through all these movies. It'd just be interesting to see how they all sort of come together, and that is going to be cool.
Yeah. So after Daredevil, that's spring 2024. Then the next big thing is a movie release. May 3rd, 2024. So summer of 2024 in America.
Yeah.
Captain America: New World Order.
New World Order, brother. NWO.
So to be honest, I got to say, I'm not really looking forward to this because, well, our original Captain America's gone, and he didn't pass it to Bucky. He passed it to Falcon?
Falcon, yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the Captain Falcon TV.
I didn't watch that show, so I can't really give you an opinion on it.
Like, it was okay, but it wasn't like a big thing that I thought it might be. So yeah, I don't really know what they're going to do with Captain America: New World Order.
Yeah, I wonder what the actual. I mean, like a lot of people are saying, like they haven't really heard of a comic book that deals with New World Order or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's something new. It's something different.
Yeah.
And I mean, Falcon as the new Captain America. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't mind Falcon as a character, as part of the Avengers, but yeah, for him to be the new Captain America. I mean, we all thought it was going to be Bucky, right?
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's what it was sort of leading up to, that he was going to
then curveball,
and then they curveballed it, and it's the Falcon. But no, it's another MCU movie, I guess.
You know, it'd be really cheesy at the end of Avengers Endgame if Captain America's about to give the shield to Bucky, and he's just like, no, sorry, here you go.
It's like, well,
and Bucky's like, oh, damn it.
But
yeah, that was disappointing. But
yeah, I mean, like it's ending Phase 5, so I mean, there could be something big there.
Yeah.
So it is ending Phase 5.
Yeah, so that's the final property there in Phase 5. So this is pretty much about a year and a half planned for Phase 5.
Yeah. So it starts next year in February, and ends. I guess the summer of 2024. So that's a year and a half of pretty good MCU content coming up.
Yep. And then let's move on to Phase 6.
Yeah, that's a big one.
This is where things get really interesting. So Phase 6 actually begins... Well, actually, I can't say when it actually begins because there's a bit of a gap there between May and November, which is the first planned movie at the moment, November 8th, 2024. Yep. Fantastic Four. The movie.
Yeah.
So there's a gap there there's a big gap there, which Marvel doesn't leave big gaps. So there's a few gaps here. We'll talk about that a little bit at the end of this, but the first property is Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and like you would think that they would have announced the cast here and maybe a director, but man, we've got to like understand there is D23 coming up in about a month and a bit. Surely
they have the cast finalized with 2 years to go, right?
Yes, they would, and I would think that filming would be sometime soon.
Let's just talk about the cast for a second, because there is a big, small controversy, big or small, whatever you want to call it, with the main character, who we saw in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Get unraveled in Doctor Strange. In a different Earth, but...
It's a different universe.
Yeah. So, Jim from The Office, what's his name?
Krasinski.
John Krasinski. He was... Everyone was like, "Oh, that's awesome! He's going to be, the main character from Fantastic Four." But they sort of killed him off. And initially, the rumors were he had actually finished up with his show that he's doing, Jack Ryan, for Amazon. Yeah. He finished that off so he can then focus on other projects. And everyone was like, "Other projects must be Fantastic Four." And then everyone started connecting dots.
Yeah.
But lately we've heard from, was it Feige and someone else, the director, I think. They said it was more of a thank you sort of thing to the fans, like fan service, to have him as...
it was in I think some sort of director commentary that Sam Raimi was like, we listened to the fans. It's a good fan service moment. Yeah. That's kind of what all he said, right? And I think a lot of people have taken that and said like maybe Krasinski's not the actual Reed Richards of the universe, but I'm of a different thinking. I've got a different thinking about this, and I believe Krasinski is our Reed Richards because, and there's a big. I'm making this call because Marvel doesn't do these things at a fan service like that, right?
Yeah, that's not Marvel.
And the way Marvel talks to actors and sort of get them on board in the MCU, they don't just go, "Oh, do you want to come for this one little thing?" and just go. They if Krasinski is going to be a Reed Richards, I'm pretty sure Feige's had and I've heard of these things. I heard of these talks. I've heard of Krasinski visiting Marvel Studios, them having some long talks. I've heard of all this.
What, for just a cameo?
It wouldn't be a cameo, so. And like the way Krasinski, works is that and this all ties up very, John Watts leaving.
The director
leaving, and then him all of a sudden having a cameo in Doctor Strange,
and he does these he'll direct the movie and act in it.
Yeah,
as well as
he wants to direct and act because he's a very accomplished director as well with A Quiet Place. So and that Quiet Place is about a family as well. So he knows the sensibilities of working with that type of script. But Krasinski's your Reed Richards. You heard it here first. Just
I saw this crazy.
Just relax, everyone. Krasinski is your Reed Richards.
I saw this crazy video someone edited. Like they revealed who Reed Richards was, and it was what's his name, Spider-Man, the actor.
Toby.
Toby, yeah. Like Reed Richards, and then they revealed the rest of them, and it was all Toby.
That would be funny. But it's definitely Krasinski. I mean, whether Emily Blunt, I don't know. But like,
that would be so good if they get Emily Blunt.
Reed Richards is John Krasinski, yeah. And that's coming at the start of Phase 6. And
Phase 6, November 8th, 2024.
The end of 2024. So
now, after that, big gap. As you can see here on the screen, if you look at this picture,
6 months gap.
There's gaps there. They haven't filled it in. We'll talk about that at the end, but there's going to be a lot of properties in there as well for Phase 6. It's not just going to be these 3 movies, and those 2 last movies that we're going to talk about now: Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 2025.
Now this is big because I've always wanted Kang as to be the big bad. Ever since Loki, it's just, obviously I think they've always had this plan, but the Kang story is a very good one because what I believe is going to happen throughout Phase 5 and 6 is that Kang is, I reckon, going to be defeated, probably killed in a couple of these movies, but I think he's just going to keep on popping up. His variants keep on popping up, keep on trying to conquering whatever multiverse they can, because that's the problem that's going to keep on coming up, is that Kang just, you kill him and then he comes up again.
And he's jumping, he'll probably be jumping.
Yeah, he'll be jumping between universes and trying to conquer them. So I think that's what's going to be happening, where there's going to be a bunch of Kangs just going through universes and doing that. And the Avengers trying to stop him. And the fact that there's 2 Avengers movies in this year, I reckon they're going to fail in this movie. And because it's a young team, and they're gonna fail. I reckon the first up, something's gonna go wrong because they're young and inexperienced, and they're gonna fail.
Yeah, and the big one, you thought if you guys thought that's big, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. 6 months later, there's another Avengers movie coming out, Secret Wars.
Yep,
massive.
Yeah.
So that is November 7th, 2025. That is massive. Now, like Samit said, if they fail in the Kang Dynasty, if everyone dies, whatever, or something happens, it'll sort of resurface in Avengers: Secret Wars, I reckon.
6 months after. There's going to be, I mean, we saw America Chavez in Doctor Strange, right? I think she might be crucial to what's going on in these 2 movies.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that she can jump between universes. She's probably someone that's going to be trying to follow Kang, I guess.
Yeah.
Any way she can, with her help of going through the star portals. But yeah, man, Secret Wars is a massive, the scope of Secret Wars is massive.
Yeah.
We could see some of the biggest cameos. We've seen a couple of cameos, right? That movie could be just a cameo fest.
And please, do not, all those people who made up all these cameo rumors that some were, probably, almost real for Doctor Strange. Like, please don't go on the internet and start spreading these rumors. Like, I don't want to hear it, because I was so disappointed in Doctor Strange, because my expectations went through the roof. Like, I was waiting for Tom Cruise to pop up as Iron Man. Like, seriously.
I reckon
Secret Wars
is where you're getting all that. I mean, they possibly could have been part of Multiverse of Madness, right? And I reckon
they held it back.
They held it back for Secret Wars because they want that to be the big sort of, oh my God, everyone's here. Because the scope of Secret Wars is massive.
Yeah.
You've got all these villains from different universes, all these heroes from different universes, and they're all just going to collide in that. So, yeah, I'm excited for what happens there.
Let's just talk about for a moment the gaps in this.
The gaps.
So there are a few things which they could possibly fill, which they did not announce at the moment in for Phase 6 in the Marvel panel.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing, of course, at the top of our heads is X-Men.
Yep.
They didn't announce it, but you can imagine it being in there somewhere after Fantastic Four, right? And then leading into an Avengers movie. Like, imagine like Wolverine, Cyclops, all those people. Like, they are ready for this. Like, this is going to be big, right? And I feel like, well, there's a few other events we were talking about that are going to be occurring over the year. D23 in September. So they might be holding back an announcement for that as well. Because if they reveal everything here, what are they going to show there, right?
Yeah.
They're holding some stuff back here, and they're going to probably announce it at some point.
Yeah, I reckon they're sort of just drip feeding the sort of X-Men throughout the next 2 phases. And then, I mean, yeah, we could see some form of the X-Men team up in Secret Wars. I reckon between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. I mean, hell, they could even be pivotal to that, right?
Yeah.
They could be, that they're sort of peppered throughout the phases, and then between those 2 Avengers movies, you have an X-Men movie, right? And where Xavier brings them all together, because they could show up in some other properties, and then Charles Xavier finds them all and brings them all together, right?
Yeah.
For a purpose in Secret Wars. So yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, X-Men was one of them. One notable omission that I really thought was guaranteed to happen was Deadpool. I was pretty shocked that there was nothing Deadpool.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds probably scratching his head right now, looking at that face. He's like, hold on a second.
I mean, there's a gap there, right? So, like, I know for sure that, and I've heard this from the writers, is that they are writing this right now, and they've been going back and forth with Disney, and apparently there's no problems there. I mean, Disney, as we saw, like, has added Deadpool and Logan and stuff to Disney Plus, so they're a bit more open to some of the R-rated stuff being added to their catalog. So, I mean, we haven't heard anything about what's going on in terms of if it's getting announced, but that could be something they're holding off to D23, right?
Possibly, yeah. That could. I have a feeling that they are holding that back.
Yeah,
because that's something very big, right?
Yeah. Like, I think a couple of D23 years ago, it might have been a D23 or CinemaCon. Like, you had the Disney boss, so they're loving the fact that they had Deadpool as part of their, as part of their team. So they're like, oh man, they're just beaming with joy. We're having that. Well, they could tell on the stage they were talking about it. So it would probably make sense that they'd want to announce it at D23.
And then another possibility is Ghost Rider.
Yeah, Ghost Rider.
That's also been talked about.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, Ghost Rider would tie in, I guess, to the whole supernatural side of it. So that could be something that is definitely there as well. I've heard rumors here and there, right, of Ghost Rider. They've got actors and they've got directors ready, but
Keanu Reeves, come on, man, just get him as Ghost Rider. Come on, please.
I've been hearing he as I heard about Krasinski walking into those offices of Marvel Studios. I've been hearing a lot about Keanu.
Gosling might be the Ghost Rider as well.
That's another one that could join. But I mean, yeah, Ghost Rider could come in. The X-Men, Deadpool. I mean, these are all movies that could be peppered throughout that. Between Fantastic Four and the Avengers Kang Dynasty.
And imagine those movies in that phase, in Phase 6. That's a massive Phase 6.
Yeah.
And that is all leading up to the big Avengers movie. So you can imagine them being in there. So that's going to be crazy.
And I reckon they will, right? Because X-Men, I believe X-Men are in that Secret Wars comic, and because literally it is everyone, right, in Secret Wars. And I think if they want to do their version of Secret Wars, like the MCU wants to do it, like the film version, it is about getting people from different universes. I mean, we could get, Hugh Jackman, and
yes,
get that. It would make sense in a film version, right?
Yeah,
to get all these people, and we've already seen that the Toby, Spider-Man, and Andrew Garfield coming in, and I reckon they'll definitely be in Secret Wars, by the way. But if we were to get all the superheroes from all these different movies, they could definitely be in there. Yeah.
And, of course, if you've got a Deadpool movie, there's always rumours about Hugh Jackman joining the Deadpool movie. Yeah. So you never know.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, a lot's happening with Marvel. Obviously, Phase 4 hasn't been as great as everyone probably expected, leading up after the Avengers Endgame. But looks like they're looking to rectify that, Kevin Feige.
It's heading into a direction now. I think which is what everyone was sort of wondering, like what
direction
leading to. And I mean, I can safely say it's definitely Kang.
Yeah.
Kang is the big bad, and he's going to go across those 2 movies, I believe.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. So there's a lot to look forward to in the Marvel space, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Us at Dog Entertainment, we're definitely looking forward to the next 2 or 3 years of Marvel. That's going to be crazy.
Pretty exciting. Yeah.
Yes, it is getting a lot. It is getting a bit saturated, but look, if they keep it interesting, I think people will still go back and watch. Yeah. They've got to keep it interesting. They've got to make good stories, good storytelling, good screenplays, and everyone will still go back and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed a little bit about that, right? Like, a lot of the criticism that Marvel Studios got in the first 3 phases was that every MCU movie is the same. You know, they don't allow the directors to do what they want. And this is, I reckon Phase 4 is a direct response to that. The directors have more leeway, but now it feels like it's not as, succinct of a story that they're telling across the movies.
Yeah.
Right? And that was, I guess, that's the trade-off that they have at the moment. But I reckon with this announcement, Feige's got a plan of where it's going now. So it's hopefully leading in a better direction.
Yep. And before we finish it off, just another mention as well, Black Panther 2 as well. So that's coming out soon.
Yeah, Black Panther's coming out.
That's going to be in phase. That's rounding off the Phase 4.
Yeah, rounding off Phase 4. And yeah, I mean, that's not that long to go for that. So
yeah. So that's pretty much it at the moment from us in terms of the Marvel panel. We will do a few more trailer reactions about some of the things that have also come out, so keep an eye out for that. Please like the video, share it if you can, subscribe to our channel. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Please show your support. Leave a comment down below on the things you liked and the things you'd like to see improved as well. And if there's anything we haven't been able to answer or discuss or that we've had said wrong, please correct us in the comments section. We do appreciate all of your comments and support as well.
Come at me, Ironheart fans. Come at me.
So thanks, guys. It's good to be back on. Hopefully we can do a few more consistent videos, can keep it going.
Yeah.
And we shall see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace.